Greetings and salutations, exercise science and YouTube. My name is Joshua D. Williams, and aka also known as Trinity God Saint, and I'm going to talk to you today about competitive bodybuilding. We can distinguish this from normal bodybuilding, which is the process of building up one's body. And if you ever lifted a weight, if you ever did any type of body weight exercise, that means that you are a bodybuilder. We're going to contrast that with competitive bodybuilding, which is a different animal altogether. All right, we're going to talk about 4 points. It's nutrition and diet, exercise and training, posing, and show day expensive/particulars. All right, competition prep can be between 10 to 20 plus weeks, depending on the person, how long they've been bulking, and how much weight they have to lose. And the goal of competition prep is to maintain as much muscle mass as possible and at the same time lose body fat. So you can look your very best and look the leanest that you will ever look on stage. Okay. Hydration. Very key component. All right. Typically, I drink a gallon of water per day for my workouts. But during the last week of my competition prep, I kind of changed that up a little bit. But conventional knowledge, conventional understanding of bodybuilding and whatnot, and considering all the studies that's been going on considering bodybuilding, is typically thought it's better to keep your hydration levels the same and don't really change it up too drastically in order to facilitate the goals that you want, pretty much to look the best you want. However, I did do something a little bit differently just to see how I would look afterwards. But like any type of research or whatnot, is trial and error. In order to look the best you want to look, you have to experiment a little bit. And experiment I did. All right. Now we're on to nutrition and diet. All right, the protocol I used to deplete the water was to increase my water intake during the last week or the prep week before my competition from I started at 1 gallon of water and I ended at around 3 gallons of water. And this was 9 p.m. before show day. And I held to the concept or the idea that my body would be trying to drain all those waters out, and that it was anticipating the same amount of water the next day, pretty much. Okay. Protein, very key emphasis on protein. You want to make sure this is relatively high compared to the other macronutrients. This is because if you keep your protein low, this can result in losing muscle mass, which is the body mass that we want to display, so we don't want to decrease it at all. What we want to decrease is body fat, so we want to keep that muscle mass high, or as high as possible. All right. You want to, typical protein intake for a general population is around 0.0 grams of protein per kg of body weight. However, bodybuilders take well in excess of that. Bodybuilders have been known to take around 4.4 grams per kg of body weight. And as for me, I did less than that, but a lot more than general population, which is between 1.8 for me to 3.3 grams per kg. Once again, this massive amount of protein is very useful in maintaining muscle mass, and in very rare cases, increasing your muscle mass while you decrease your body fat. All right, carbohydrates. This is the substrate or the macronutrients that you're going to change pretty much the most often, because carbohydrates are not necessary to survive or to live. You can decrease these to pretty low levels. And for me, I decreased. I started off at 300 grams, and the lowest amount I got to was 50 grams. And keep in mind, when I was at the 50 grams of carbohydrates per day, I did have 2 to 3 day refeed days in which I ingested insane amounts of carbohydrates in order to kind of plump my body back up. And I would only do this considering how I looked, how much weight I lost, and in order to make my weight loss nice and slow. All right, as for the fats, I kind of made a mistake during my prep. I ate too much fats, but typically you want to keep your fats around 50 grams or lower. And this so that you don't gain too much excess kcals, because fats, as we may or may not know, is around 9 kcals per gram, and proteins and carbs are around 4. So it's good to keep your fats pretty around 50 grams, but you make sure you have to get your fats in, because they are integral, or they are very, very important in order to live, pretty much. And they're useful in making cholesterol and all this hormones and stuff like that. And make sure you stick to mono unsaturated and poly unsaturated fats. All right, conventional bodybuilding knowledge, bro science, kind of old school way of thinking about it is that you have to time your meals like in a regimented fashion. However, I did not do this. I kind of worked my meals around my workouts and worked them around my schedule. So there was no set time where I ate breakfast or lunch, or even if I ate breakfast, I kind of got the amount of kcals I needed to get throughout the day, and I left it at that pretty much. But however, I did make some consideration for my workouts. I made sure to ingest protein and carbohydrates before and after my workouts. And this, I believe, was what helped me to maintain muscle mass and to grow it slightly during the middle portion of my prep. All right, the supplements I consumed were whey protein. It was hydrolyzed, and it was whey isolate. This is pretty much the top quality protein you can get, approximately 97+% pure. So it was very useful, and it was very helpful for me to maintain my muscle mass. And in the creatine monohydrate, I use this in order to keep my strength up and to kind of give me that plump look while I was training. Okay, this is an example of my diet, as you can see. This is an example of an optimal day that I had. So that's 125 carbs, 265 protein, and 44 grams of fat. And as you can see, yes, I did have 23 grams of fiber. However, you would want to have a lot more fiber than that in order to facilitate whatever health, good and expedient health, pretty much for your system. All right, now we're on to exercise and training. I used both resistance training and cardiovascular training in order to facilitate my specific look that I was going for. And I started with the type of resistance training I was doing was pretty much all the above. I did body weight, I did machines, I did resistance or free weights. And the time was between as low as an hour and a half, which is probably a lot for most people, but and as high as 3+ hours, which is a huge amount for most people. And my frequency was a lot, and the intensity ran the gamut, 65% to 90%. So I did a kind of a power bodybuilding set. So yep, so I hit all the rep ranges in that set also. And keep in mind, at this time I was doing 2-a-days. So keep in mind I was doing 2-a-days pretty much. So I did 2-a-days in order to make sure I hit my legs 4 to 5 days a week, because they were a weak point for me. So I wanted to make sure I kind of hit them hard in order to bring them up for this this upcoming show. All right, this is an example of all the leg exercises I did. Now this is a 1-day example. I would do this each and every workout during the evenings, and I would do my upper body workouts during the mornings. Now I'll alternate between back and chest, traps and stuff like that for the upper body workouts. All right. As for the cardiovascular interval training, the time was typically 15 to 20 minutes, including 5-minute warm-up and cool down, and the frequency was as low as 2 days a week, pretty much at my most intense, and as many times as 5 days a week. which is obviously in a moderate to mild range of HIIT training. All right, and intensity at the low end was 10 to 12, and at the high end it was 18 to 20. Pretty much, I was falling off the treadmill. Okay, this is an example of HIIT. Keep in mind, guys, when I did my basketball, I actually played basketball for fun, for just to engage in some kind of competitive sport, and I did not include this in my my workouts. But I would train. I would play basketball as low as 30 minutes and as high as 3+ hours. But it was too inconsistent for me to actually include it into the workout plan. That's the reason why I didn't. All right, now we're on to posing. We have mandatory posing. This is the poses that you have to do, that you will do in every bodybuilding show if you are a bodybuilder. All right, we have the 2 rounds, the symmetry round and the musculature round. The symmetry round is as follows. You have the front relaxed. It's not really relaxed. Then you have the sides. Then you have the back, the side, and then the front relaxed again. And this is pretty much to see how symmetrical you are. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the musculature round and examples of them. All right. This is the front double biceps. Obviously, it's showing the legs and definitely the biceps. And this is the side chest. All right. And this is the rear lat spread. This is the abdominals and thighs. This is the rear back. Excuse me. This is the back double biceps, and this is the front lat spread, and this is the most muscular. There are quite a few different types of most musculars, but this is one of them, pretty much. I believe this is called the crab pose. All right. These are some of the golden age of classical bodybuilding poses. Some of the poses that Arnold would do, and sometimes you'll see them in some of the trophies that you'll win. All right, and they did these poses mainly to be as aesthetic as possible, not so much massive and kind of overbearing, but they want to look a certain way. Here's more examples of them. As you can see, they seem a little bit more artistic, more kind of Greek statue-esque. So there you go. All right. In addition to the mandatory poses, sometimes you'll have a individualized posing. This is usually a 1-minute presentation to show your muscles the best way you know how. All right. Okay. It shows your personality and whatnot, and doing an individualized posing program is pretty much for the crowd. It's to hype the crowd up and to kind of show them why they're there. It's to show your personality, to smile, to have fun, pretty much. And as for that posing video, that was completely like on the spot. I didn't talk to the guy before, or he just started beatboxing, and my music had failed. So I went in go ahead and started posing. That whole routine was made up on the spot because I had a certain posing routine, but it was geared to the music. So I changed it once he started beatboxing for me. He kind of helped me out. I want to do a shout out to that guy because he was amazing. He helped me out a lot. And that pretty much what allowed me to win the best posing, or the posing round, simply because of how spontaneous it was and how much the crowd was engaged in it. All right, this is the show day particulars. All right, there are quite a few expenses that's associated with competitive bodybuilding. Now, there's supplements, including the protein, creatine, pre-workouts, and if you're an enhanced athlete, you got all the expenses associated with the illegal supplements, GH, steroids, pro hormones, stuff like that. I don't believe pro hormones are illegal, but you get you get the idea pretty much. All right, there's also tanning / dream tan. There's shaving, waxing, nair. There's posing. The posing trunks, pretty much the underwear or the posing trunks I was wearing. there's the actual show cost, how much it costs to enter into a section of the show, like bodybuilding, physique, figure, bikini, whatever that has its own individual cost. And then you have the OCB/NPC or whatever the association you're with, those costs, and those can be pretty as low as $60 and as high as $120, if not more. And then of course the hotels, and it all adds up, guys. Competitive bodybuilding is not cheap. It's very, very expensive, and this is one of the aspects that kind of weeds out like the winners, pretty much the guys who keep going at it, and the guys who are willing to spend all of that money, and the guys who are pretty much sponsored from the guys who just do it as a hobby. It can get very, very expensive. All right, okay. Now we're on to the summary. We talked about nutrition/diet, exercise and training, posing, and of course the show day particulars/expenses. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and make sure you continue watching for more. And this is Trinity God Saint signing out.